Yesterday, March 7th, 2012, Peyton Manning was officially released from the Indianapolis Colts. It was big news for everyone. Rumor had been going around for a few days, mostly that day. And then 12 noon, the official conference, where his team owner and himself spoke about the great loss on each of them. A lot of the news reporters described the situation as the end of the Peyton Manning era. I mean, after all, he had played for 14 seasons. He was a first pick in 1998, and he made it. He has never missed a game, except in 2011 season, when he had to undergo 2 major surgeries in regards to his neck. Of course, he really had to get let go at that point, because if you're not playing, it's really expensive for us. It was sad, but this morning I was looking for something in Desire of Ages that sort of embodied that theme. Because one of the major questions that news reporters were asking, they were just all over it, was what is he going to do next? Is he going to coach? Is he going to start up, a sports center? Is he going to try to play on another team or franchise? Because he is a free agent at this point. Is he going to retire? I mean, he is relatively young. He's 36. But still, for football, that's, aged. Like, what is he going to do next? And I was looking for a question in Desire of Ages that sort of answers that question, and I found it. In Desire of Ages, page 623. And it says, those who till the soil have the illustration ever before them. Year by year, man preserves his supply of grain by apparently throwing away the choicest. For a time, it must be hidden under the furrow, the soil, to be watched over by the Lord. Then appears the blade, then the ear, then the corn in the ear. But this development cannot take place unless the grain is buried out of sight, hidden, and, to the appearance of all, lost. The seed buried in the ground produces fruit, and in turn, this is planted. Thus the harvest is multiplied. So the death of Christ on the cross of Calvary will bear fruit unto eternal life. The contemplation of this sacrifice will be the glory of those who, as the fruit of it, will live through the eternal ages. The Colts are getting rid of their all-star quarterback. No, he hasn't been in the Super Bowl in the past couple of years, but he won them games, and that's enough. He's a talented young man, Peyton Manning, and they're letting him go. I mean, 2012's right around the corner. The season will be up any day now. You can let him play then. It seems really weird to let him go. But maybe there's a fruit that God is trying to plant. The author carries on and says, the grain of wheat that preserves its own life can produce no fruit. It abides alone. If I have a field of wheat, small field, I'm a little person, I thresh it and everything, I harvest it, I thresh it, I get my flour, and I make bread. Okay, fine. But now I have no more wheat. All I have is bread, which is good. But I won't won't have any more after this. Christ could, if he chose, save himself from death. But should he do this, he must abide alone. He could bring no sons and daughters of God. Only by yielding up his life could he impart life to humanity. Only by falling into the ground to die could he become the seed of that vast harvest, the great multitude that out of every nation and kindred and tongue and people are redeemed to God. Christ had to be buried so that we could be resurrected. Christ had to die so that we could have eternal life. Maybe it is God's will that Peyton Manning, in being released from the Colts and released from his 5-year contract, that he can do something new and fresh with his life. That maybe he can impart and help develop and encourage that same spirit of optimism that he had back in Tennessee to other young people who are trying the same thing and aiming for the same goals as he once did. Or maybe he can lead another team onto victory as he did with the Colts. He can be another encourager in that franchise. Maybe he can start up a sports center so that little people who look up to him can soon do the same thing he did. Plant more seeds and lead more people and help more people and be a chief encouragement officer. I just heard that in a speech in Toastmasters. Someone who will help someone and influence someone to follow their dreams and to do their best to the glory of God. That's what Christ did for us. He enabled us to be more like God and to do work for God and to be the best, the absolute best that we could ever be. He gave us eternal life. He gave us the opportunity for perfection. Be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect, in Matthew 5. The seed must die so that it can grow again.